Welcome again to another episode of Fast Break. We have today episode number 7. Ooh, wow! It's already a great show here. We're throwing things around already. I love it. Episode 7 here. Ray Halbrook from Livestream STL Media. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day as we bring you another episode of Fast Break here, guys. We're going to talk a little bit about the tournaments this season, or this particular session here. But, we have these late, a late bout of tournaments here. We've got the Bruce Thomas tournament. We've got the Hillsboro tournament over at Hillsboro for girls. And then we also have the tournament up in Fort Zumwalt for some of the larger schools and things like that. But wanted to just kind of get your take on some of these tournaments. Scotty's kind of got he's kind of been the guru of the tournaments this season, which I appreciate you kind of keeping up with all this here. And Scotty, what do you got for us today?
Well, let's talk about the Bruce Thomas. We're fresh off of that. We did not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 games under Livestream STL under the Bruce Thomas umbrella for the 12th annual event there.
Let me tell you a little bit about that.
A little bit?
A little bit. The 4 games that we did, we've done 4 games, nights and days and things like that. That one was probably one of the easiest ones. It was a little grueling at times, but, over the years, doing 4 of these, it's nice to have extra help. But it was just Scotty and I. And Scotty knocked it out of the park, so I'm going to give Scotty some kudos.
As
on
always.
That.
As always.
There you go. That's beautiful.
But anyway, actually, I was kind of surprised by the time I got to that championship game, I still had a voice left.
There you go.
There was quite a, going back to the 6th place / 5th place game, Herculaneum had a last-second attempt to win the game. The ball out of Jackson LaPlante's hands. Just missed that three-pointer, rimmed out at the buzzer as they lost 61-60. That was a really intriguing contest. We kind of talked, in the previous show that obviously Tanner Duncan is kind of what, everything revolves around at Herky right now. But, they're starting to work in, like, the McMahon kid, Asinger. They've got some pieces, that they're looking at for next year, and they're also starting to look at them now. And they're starting to develop some of those because obviously Tanner, up to 3rd place on the all-time scoring list.
Yep.
2 notches behind Bruce Thomas. But you kind of look to the future, and there were times yesterday when they sat him.
Yep.
And that was kind of like, you don't necessarily see that. Normally you kind of just get on your horse and you just kind of ride him until the brakes fall off.
Right. Yep.
Yep. So that was the 5th place game.
Si, senor.
Yeah. Well. Sorry I couldn't be there Saturday, guys.
You were there in spirit.
I was, but the snow, all the weather, moved the games from Friday to Saturday. So,
which actually helped us in the long run because we had double booked Friday night, and I had to. I was going to have to make an executive decision, but we decided to go ahead and play things out, and the weather worked in our favor, which was kind of surprising. So, but it worked out. But
it was still burr.
Yeah, it was very cold.
What were the other results, Scott?
Well, the 2nd place game, the 3rd place game. I believe the Broncos prevailed over the Pacific Indians.
You mean the Bronchos?
The Bronchos, yeah. H is silent, right?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
I was thinking about SpaghettiOs there for some reason, and I don't know why.
That's the Spanish version of Bronco. I don't know if you know that.
I had stat keepers one year who just were tickled that it was spelled that way and would not call it Broncos, only say it as Bronchos.
The Bronchos.
It
sounds like a respiratory condition. I got the Bronchos.
You might know one of them, Ray, a young lady by the name of Deanne Beekman.
Deanne Beekman.
Yeah, who just thought Broncos.
The Beeks girl. Or
Bayless,
sister, right? The Beeks
her
sister.
Yes, Drake's sister.
Gotcha.
3rd place, you said Bayless?
Correct.
Okay.
It was a good game. For the most part, the Broncos kind of really controlled that one. It was a couple of times where the Indians kind of got a little bit close, but I think the Broncos really had that one.
Both teams have really good guards, Bayless and Pacific.
Yeah.
But Pacific might have an extra guy or two. Maybe that put them over the hump.
Well, actually, I think Bayless was actually the shorter bench. I think the Indians had a deeper bench. I just don't think they were as talented. And
Right.
That's not
Yeah, that's
taking
what I'm
anything
saying.
away, but I think there was a little inexperience on
Yeah.
Pacific's bench.
Yeah, Bayless has several really good guards. Yep.
So that led us up to the championship game, the crowning achievement of yesterday. And that, of course, led to the Valley Park Hawks. Caw-caw! And they
Did he just
emerged
do that?
victorious. I did do that.
I did do that. I did that.
But that was a really good game. You talked about, they've got a couple of great scorers in Coleman and then St. Clair. That was their 1-2 punch, and I know they've got, I think, Jefferson coming up sometime in their future, probably.
Well, I don't know if they play in the regular season or not, but in district they're on a collision
Yeah.
course. And I'm glad you brought that up because Valley Park does have some pretty talented players. And again, not to get the big head or put the pressure on them, but I think Jefferson still takes that district
Well,
when the time comes.
I mean, Jefferson, with their depth and they just have a swagger about them.
Yeah.
Obviously, they still got to go out and they got to play the games. We've
Yep.
seen them come out a little bit slow in a couple of games, and then when they hit the accelerator, it's like this team can compete with just about anybody
Yeah.
in the region.
And they beat Northwest, who finished second, which I think is a really nice
Yeah.
result for them, even
Yeah.
though they lost to a Class 3 team. They're a Class 6. But having said that, showing signs of progress, I think, this year.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about Northwest. There, you've seen the last 3 or 4 years just each season when they get in this tournament, they've gotten a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. They pull off the upset in the semis,
Yep.
and end up with the Bronchos
right.
having to play for third place. But not only that, I'm going to love seeing this Valley Park matchup if it happens.
Yep.
And
Be a good one.
it will be on live stream STL. I can guarantee that because, well, I take that back. It will be on Misha TV because we will be covering that particular game, and that's usually always an automatic. So these playoff games are kind of a lock thanks to our good friends over at where? Shelter Insurance. So yeah, I mean, I think big win there for Valley Park. Should be a really neat matchup here for districts.
This is episode 7, right?
Yes.
Correct.
You neglected to talk about the 7th place game, Scott.
Did I?
You did, but
Maybe that
it's
was
okay.
intentional. I don't know.
It might have been intentional.
Okay.
Well, let me just put my John Hancock here on this KIP victory.
Just read between the lines and we'll move on, right?
So KIP was victorious over Hancock in that one, and that was our very, very first game of the day.
10 a.m., baby.
And it was a little weird because normally we've been there in like the later time, so the shadows and like the glare
Oh,
were
yeah.
coming in.
Yeah.
Also, there's like a big mound of snow right outside. There's like a bank of windows, so it was like glistening in off of there, so you were getting a little extra glare.
I bet you had a really big crowd for that one, too.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
I think there were 7 there,
Okay.
being episode 7.
Yeah,
See what I did there?
I see what you did there.
There you go. Let's talk about the Hillsboro tournament here real quick on the girls' side here. And I don't want to forfeit too much information, but there was a forfeit.
Too soon. Too soon.
We're just full of puns here.
Scotty, take it away.
No, no.
See how I just kind of left you in the dark there, too?
Oh, woof! I mean, let me put the hood back on. Let's bring out the tales from the coaching dark side.
That was tales from the producing dark side.
Yes.
Oh, heard you had a few of those
Yes, I
pop
did.
up over
Yes.
the weekend.
But we won't talk
We'll
about
move
that.
on. We'll
No.
move on.
We're
Yeah.
not here to talk about the past.
I'm just here so I'm not going to get fined.
We needed some producing enhancements anyway. So anyway, the Hillsboro Invitational, the girls that was hosted over at Hillsboro, the Lady Hawks advanced all the way to the final against Freeburg. It's noteworthy that early in the tournament they played Vashon,
Freeburg.
and
If
I'll just say that was very
leave it-
one-sided.
Oh, never mind.
Hey, play some Skinnerd. I like it. Sweet Home Alabama.
Play some Skinner, man.
Play some Skinner.
Freeburg must be pretty good.
So Freeburg defeats the host Hillsboro 46-42 in a close one. Hillsboro's had a couple of these close games that didn't go their way. Obviously, they played St. Vincent recently down at St. Vincent, and they had a similar result. I don't know what the foul totals were in this one, but on your home court, you would think it would be at least pretty even.
Yeah.
Dynamite drop in, Monty.
I didn't really follow that tournament. This Freeburg, I got to check them out. If they beat Hillsboro, I mean, Hillsboro we've seen several times. Really,
You see me throwing Coach under the bus right now
thanks.
here, too.
Thanks, buddy.
I'm on a roll. It's episode 7, folks.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Hillsboro's path to that championship game beat Vashon 91-7. Was that the forfeit later in the tournament? Vashon,
Yes.
Vashon, yeah.
91-7. Okay, they were really good a few years ago. Sullivan, they beat Sullivan by 18 to move to 14-2, and then lost to Freeburg, who I'm pulling up to see.
Freeburg.
Wow, they are 21-6, and
That's a lot of games
They're a
already.
wagon over in Illinois, aren't they?
That
Yeah.
is a lot of games already.
It really is. Yeah.
Hmm.
You know, Illinois does things a little differently than we do over here, but yeah, wow, maybe not a bad loss for Hillsboro, prepping them up for postseason.
Okay.
And then, kind of rounding out the segment here, obviously, kind of highlighted, the Herky tournament. Herky's involved in that. Hillsboro girls involved in their own tournament. And then the Fort Zumwalt North tournament, local team Windsor traveled there. And I only had 2 games. You said that there was actually 3 games that they were in. Is that correct, Coach?
Yeah, they won one of them.
So they lost against Parkway North, and then they beat Priory.
Yep.
And then there was a subsequent game after
Troy.
Priory.
They lost to Troy by 10 in the what would be the 5th place game.
Sounds about right.
And kind of follows a recent trend for Windsor where they've played up some really good opponents, Class 5 and 6 opponents, and have had a lot of close losses, which led one of the guys sitting next to me to make in my opinion, big mistake on the power rankings in the JCAA.
Who would that be?
But
We're not going to name names.
Yeah. Well, the guy who did it might say something like that. But anyway.
Stay tuned, folks. We're going to have new rankings out right after this show, and there will be tons and tons of manipulation going on between now and then.
If you don't like them, you can do them yourself.
Windsor needs to, nobody wants us more than they do. Obviously, they need to step up and win some of these close games. But if you're losing close games to, who'd you say the first opponent was in that tournament?
Parkway North.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And you beat Priory, who's playing well here later in the year. Troy's always got a really good program. They're gearing up for that big rematch with Festus coming up here the 13th, I believe, of February. So, anyway, Owls, I believe in you.
Who?
Ooh. I still think Festus is going to win, though.
No, you may be right. You may be right, but Festus is dealing with their own inconsistencies right now.
Right.
So, we will see.
All right. Well, does that pretty much round us up for the tournaments, I guess, here right now? Because it's kind of a short segment, but we just wanted to kind of get everybody on the up and up with the tournaments here. We'll probably be taking a look into a little deeper dive into the districts here shortly.
Can't wait.
Because we're only a couple of weeks away from the small school districts. And
See, by the time we do a show 8, this is 7.
yeah.
We should have pretty much all the district seeds and brackets out, and we can go through those and make some predictions and just kind of see where teams, how they're doing at that point in time.
I have an idea for another episode, but it might be on the road. The road to Mizzou.
The road to Columbia.
Coach has been just really digging at me to put together a road trip with him, and I've never been to a state championship.
You have to, man.
So it'd be really, really neat. I'm not sure if we can pull it off logistically yet, but we're gonna kind of see what happens here.
Yeah, you have
We'd
a
love
lot
to try.
A lot of coverage during those times, and you have other sports coming in, the spring sports. The MSHA, for all the criticism they do receive, and I've been one to lob some of that at them, they do a fantastic job up in Columbia with the state tournaments, and they do it all now at Mizzou Arena. Nothing was better, though, when they played some of the games over at the old Hearn Center,
Yeah.
which is just such a vertical, arena, and everybody's on top of the action. Really fun there. But having said that, they do a great job in Columbia. So credit to Michelin on that one for sure.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we're going to step aside for just a second here. We'll be right back. This is Fast Break.
Men to do what they do. Devoted, skilled, solving problems before there are problems. Just like the team at Crystal Heating and Cooling. 60 years of teamwork and dedication. To Crystal, you're more than a customer. You're a friend. Top reviews, decades of experience keeping your home safe and comfortable through any weather. And Crystal Care Club with included maintenance and free financing options. For 60 years, Crystal puts their heart into your comfort. Crystal Heating and Cooling.
Once again, it is time for our pick and roll segment here. And before we get started here, we're going to bring in Coach Brennan Hardy from the DeSoto Dragons. Coach, how you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. Talk a little bit about the DeSoto Dragons here. 3-7 on the season right now. It's your second year here, and what have you learned over the last couple of years about your team, and also your just your overall thoughts on the team this season?
I just learned that we got a great group of guys that, they're wanting to learn, they're wanting to get better every single day, and, just trying to supply them the tools and knowledge in order to do that. And, we just want to grow every single day that we can, whether that's a win or a loss. We just want to continue to grow as a team and, learn from our mistakes and go from there. And I think from the past 2 years that we've been together, I definitely think I've seen a lot of improvement.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, you ready here? You've gotten a little bit of a tutorial because you got to see your brother last week on here, but a little bit of a tutorial. But here's the pick and roll segment. You get 3 questions of the 10. We did not give him any of the questions here, so he is completely clueless on what he's going to be asked here. So give us three different questions here. What numbers?
Let's do 3, 7, and 8.
Perfect. Okay. Question number 3. In your coaching journey, how has technology affected game preparation and connection with your players?
Oh man, I love this question. We use Huddle all the time. I mean, we're constantly tracking our guys' hours listed on Huddle. Between all the game films that we get, and we clip our own stuff. Those guys, I tell them, I said, if you don't have any schoolwork, you better not be playing any games. You better be on Huddle.
That's right.
So, and then we also use a couple other technology tools. The fast model technology that's really been beneficial for our scouts and our practice plans, and making playbooks for our guys. So overall, we base a lot of our stuff off technology. So
Excellent. Did you say 7 for the next one?
Yes.
Okay. Question number 7. In defeat, coaches can find positive elements. Conversely, in victories, there can be elements to tweak or to improve. How do you strike the balance of when to encourage and when to challenge your players?
I think it's, we always talk about, like, after a game, I don't like to talk a lot after a game because it's all, emotion. And, I like to go back and watch the film. So, whether that's a win or a loss, there's times that you need to really get on them. And then there's times that you need to kind of pull back and say, okay, there's obviously something that's, misconcepted here, or there's a misunderstanding somewhere. So I think there's times that you need to pull guys aside and kind of have those individual conversations one-on-one. And then there's times that you need to, kind of light a fire into them. That's kind of what the only time I really get going is when I feel like we need an energy boost or some type of, motivational thing. But as far as in like learning and everything goes, yes, I do use a group display, but I like to have those one-on-one individual conversations on whether that's a win, loss. There's always something to learn.
Absolutely. And you said number 8?
Yeah.
Okay, number 8. Everyday life demands focus and energy on and off the court. What or whom do you draw strength from to move forward each day?
Just really my family. Constantly my fiance, my parents, my brother. It's nice having coaches in the family. You can bounce ideas off of each other. And then honestly, like I feed through our guys. Our guys' energy. I love being around these guys. They're a great group of kids, whether that's on the floor, off the floor. I feel like I can have great conversations. And honestly, they get me here every single day. They get me to put in the extra hours that, some nights say we play a late game, I don't want to have to go home and immediately start scouting for the next team. But then I think about it and I'm like, these guys, depend on me to give them the best tools in order to succeed. And, I got to be there for them. So really having a great support crew, whether that's, your family team, it doesn't really matter. That's what really gets me going and drives me to become better every day, because I preach that same message to our guys. So I have to live up and hold myself accountable as well.
Excellent. Excellent. Good answers there, Coach. And we appreciate the time. And I know we'll see you down the road here. So good luck to you on the way there.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Coach
Thank
Brendan Hardy.
Too.
Yeah, thank you. Coach Brendan Hardy from the DeSoto Dragons. We're going to talk to our great friend over here, and that's going to be Mr. DJ Hardy from the Hillsboro Hawks. DJ, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. I wanted to talk to you before we get into the pick and roll segment here a little bit about your team and kind of where they're at right now and your thoughts so far on your season.
We are 4-3 right now, so we're kind of figuring things out still. We've been dealing with a lot of injuries and sickness, so it's been kind of difficult for us to find any sort of consistency on both sides of the ball. We started kind of rough as far as what we're trying to do offensively, and we're starting to make advancements on that. We're not shooting the ball great right now, so that's been a struggle for us. But we're getting better. We're doing what we're trying to do as we go along here. So.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. We'll appreciate the catch up here. So this is the pick and roll segment. So we have 10 random questions on a sheet right here. You get to pick 1 through 10, and you get to pick 3 of them. So give me your 3 numbers, and I'll try to remember them.
Okay.
But and then we'll give you these questions for you and pick your brain a little bit here. All right. Go ahead.
Okay. I'll do 2, 5, and 7.
2, 5, and 7. Easy. Okay. Question number 2. Here we go. In your experience, do you think there is more pressure playing at home or on the road for a young team defining its identity?
I would say probably more pressure at home, especially with high school boys. They got their friends and family there more often at home than they do away. So there's always that pressure to kind of show out and, show everybody what they're capable of. I think away games, there's not as many people there that they know, so they're a little more calm away versus home.
I get it, and I agree with you. Question 5 here. Corporations and businesses have hardcore values. What are your core values for your team?
The number one thing is we just want to give our best effort every time we're at practice, in the film room, in a game. And then we want to treat our teammates and everyone in our school district and the people we play with respect. So those are probably our 2 main things that we talk about a lot.
Excellent. Excellent. Great answer there. Question 7 here. In defeat, coaches can find positive elements. Conversely, in victories, there can be elements to tweak or to improve. How do you strike the balance of when to encourage and when to challenge your players? That is a great question.
That is a good question. We've had a couple games that kind of hit both ends of the spectrum there. We've had games where we've had 20-point leads, and we go into halftime and we come out and we're just not the same team. We quit doing what got us there. So we've been talking about that a lot. We got to put people away when we have them in a position to do so. And then we've had games where we just don't play well at all. But or actually, one game we played against Windsor, I think you guys were at. Mm-hmm. I thought we did a lot of really good things that we were trying to do. We got good shots and we played decent defense. And that was just one of those nights where the ball wasn't going in the hole. I think we were like 2 of 20 from 3 that night. We didn't shoot it well from 2. But there was a lot of positives to take away from that game as far as playing style and doing what we were trying to do.
Excellent. Well, Coach, we appreciate the time, and thanks for being part of our pick and roll segment.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for your coverage.
Coach DJ Hardy from the Hillsboro Hawks. Time for our Ask the Professor segment here. And we have none other than Scotty the Freak Lotta with the question. Scotty, my friend, take it away.
Welcome. This is our segment where we ask our resident coach, which is the professor of coachonomics, Lee Richardson. Coach, so from time to time, we like to have you diagram something for us. So we're going to give you a scenario. Your team is trailing by 2 points. There is just a smidge less than 5 seconds. You have to go full court. What play are you drawing up to end the game?
Wow, tough spot. So we had a play, we called it dog pile, because obviously the thought being you're going to hit a shot, you're going to tie or maybe even win the game. So you might have to shoot a 3-pointer in less than 5 seconds. And here, I got my board.
Oh,
Let me show you dog pile real quick.
Here we go.
All right, so I'm going to put numbers on this, and I'll turn this around in a second here, but
we've secretly replaced his magic marker with Sharpie.
so I'm going to have, so I don't know if you can read this, but I have the 1 and the 5 kind of at the elbows, and I have the 4 throwing it in. You want that to be a shooter, so they're going to be trailing the play. 2 and 3, we're going to have them, as the ball is handed in, 2 is simply going to run to this sideline and towards the corner, and 3 crisscross that and here. And then 5 is just going to kind of stand here with a little just screen. And what you want to do is 1 step away and hopefully get a step on their defender, and they run around 5, because you want to hit them going away on the run. Okay. And then 1 gets the ball. 5 after this little, body screen for 1, they're just headed to the rim. Okay. And then here comes 1 attacking. They might have to cross over. 5 seconds. Here's the key to the whole play. By the way, 4 just comes up and trails, and they might get a, at the end of it all, I know my writing stinks, but might get a top the key 3-pointer if you have to kick it out last second scenario. But in 5 seconds, here's what you got to tell your point guard. Obviously, you're trying to get your best ball handler, one of your faster kids, obviously, on the run there. You can get a total of at least 5 dribbles, okay, before they have to shoot. But in this case, we're probably going to pass it to one of those wings, or maybe the 5 running on the rim, or the 4 trailing. So I would say you have 3-4 dribbles and 1 pass in 5 seconds. It's really more time than it seems. But the big thing is you have to practice these things. But dog pile is a play that I think gives you some options as long as you get it in. If you don't get into the 1, the 5's gonna have to come back, and then you can kind of do what I call a little hook and slice. Let me erase this real quick.
So does it matter if you're getting it in, if the shooter you're trying to get it to, which side, if they're a dominant right-handed shot or a left-handed shot?
That's why you work on it in practice, to figure out who's comfortable where. But I would say if you can't get it into the 1, like you wanted to get it to them on the run, 5 will have to come back. 4 will have to inbound it there, and then you do a little hook and slice with the 1. You come here, and then 5 should be able to get it to 1 headed towards half court. And like we said, you have the 2 and the 3 as kick-out options. 1, if they're lucky, you remember a play for Mizzou, a very famous play for Mizzou in the 90s, where their point guard, whose name escapes me now, kind of had this type of play.
Derek Chivas.
It wasn't Chivas.
Julian Winfield?
It was a little point guard.
Oh,
96, 95.
Unvold?
Nope,
Johnson?
95 tournament. I cannot remember his name, but he took it all the way and made the shot there at the buzzer. Boy, testing my NCAA tournament knowledge here. But in any event, dog pile's a great play for that situation.
Okay. Thank you, Coach. Nice to
It was
kind of swim around.
And by the way, it was UCLA player versus Mizzou. Sorry,
Tyus
that's what
Edney?
it was. Tyus Edney play. There it is.
There you go. That's our
Check out the basketball brain on Scotty. Tyus Edney. There's
All the
play.
useless information you could ever want.
And now, Tales of the Coaching Sharks.
Hello, and welcome to Tales from the Coaching Dark Side. Tonight, we discuss what could be the beginning of a terrible end to a coaching career, the technical foul. So let's say you as a coach are a little high-strung, and you've gotten a few T's this year, and the AD has had a meeting with you, telling you to get it under control, and well,
Get it under control.
Yeah, as a big conference game starts slipping away, you yell at one of your players, probably CRS Johnny. You guys remember him from forgot his uniform in the other tale, right? So anyway, you start yelling at Johnny, and the ref runs by at the same time. Now you got a tech earlier in the game, but now he thinks you called him a bad name.
Oh, yeah?
No, why you're calling Johnny names and what you called him, I mean, we're not getting into that right now, okay? Beside the point. So, but the ref thinks you're losing it to him again, and you get stuck for your second tech.
Ooh.
So, which means you
Here you go.
are ejected from the game. You're suspended from the next game. The ref puts in his report what you called him. That was meant for Johnny,
And then.
but I digress. You're ultimately fired from your job because you can't control your temper.
And then.
Yeah, I don't want to get too dramatic here, but next thing you know, your wife kicks you out. You end up living in a van down by the river.
Living in a van
And-
down by the river.
And some,
Big man in a little coat.
yeah, rip Chris Farley. But sometimes at night, you get in your old pickup truck and you drive by your old house and you got Toby Keith playing Who's That Man on repeat while you're crying into your beer. Okay, don't drink and drive, everybody. Okay, but and then the next thing, you got the flashing lights behind you. Yeah, so you know, sirens, all that. Anyway, it only gets worse from there. I don't need to go on, but I think you can see now the technical foul could be the opening to the portal to coaching hell. All right. And so coaches, stay cool and calm. Don't get any teased. No officials calls worth losing all of that. And if anything, let your assistant coaches get the tech, you know? Let them be the bad cop. And maybe you will survive another sad ending to a tale from the coaching dark side.
Dun, dun. This has been Tales of the Coaching Dark Side.
It is now time for our favorite part of Fast Break here. It is the Hoops Whisperer. Scotty the Freak Lotta is the Hoops Whisperer. Scotty, take it away.
Good evening or good morning, depending on what time you're partaking. Anyway, in this segment, I often kind of step outside and go, what would be something unconventional, basketball related? And with the coaxing of my co-hosts here, I think I've come up with a brand new idea that just might stick.
Ooh,
We'll see.
is that a pun?
Wait and see. So, we've watched quite a few basketball games, you know, here at Livestream STL. And at the end of the quarter and end at the half, so many times we see players who are completely unaware of the time running down in the quarter or the half. Players passing or dribbling, you know, determinedly, you know, not realizing that time is expiring. Coaches are yelling, fans are yelling, and sometimes even the announcers are yelling, shoot the ball! But
Is it shoot the ball? Is it shoot the ball?
it's shoot the ball. So, what if, and this is strictly hypothetical, but what if there was an easy solution to sort of steal a little bit from the ABA?
Ooh,
They have that Kmart special light that sits on the
3D
scores
light,
table with the flashing light. And that's not all. What if with 5 seconds to go, you turn that light on, but then you also play, you know, at the end of the quarter, end at the half, start playing over the PA, the Purge theme. Not at full volume, mind you, because you know it's still got to be. I mean, it's got to be noticeable. But you still have to be able to hear the whistle in case you know that the referee's got to call a foul or something. You know, see, problem solved. You know, be like, oh, the lights have changed. Oh, that music's going. I've got 5 seconds or less to get this shot up. Plus, everybody, in the building kind of gets a little adrenaline boost from that. That final 5 seconds, even in a blowout, it's like, ooh, here we go. And you go that, kind of like, ooh, yeah. So, anyway, just kind of thought that would be kind of a cool kind of thing to, kind of close out the quarters and a halves.
Nice. I love it.
That's the Hoops Whisperer, folks.
This episode is brought to you by Livestream STL. Livestream STL covers Jefferson County and the South St. Louis area. For sponsorship opportunities for any of these events, call 314-852-4398. Sponsorships can be for a single game, complete season, or a custom package. Help spotlight the young athletes of our area and score a layup for your business with new potential customers.
Thanks for watching today's broadcast. Any unauthorized use of this broadcast without the express written consent of Livestream STL is strictly prohibited.